going on?
Thank you so much.
Feel like $1 million.
Shout out TMZ, you up?
Let me check out that rig.
TMZ stands for the Mayweather Zone.
How'd you find me, bro? I got my disguise on.
I love my TMZ family.
Welcome to TMZ Sports. Babcock here. Absolutely crazy Monday Night Football game last night. Detroit Lions against the Baltimore Ravens. There were crazy, gutsy calls, and there was a big-time fumble with about 3.5 minutes or so left in the game. A costly fumble by one of the Ravens' best players in Derrick Henry.
Yeah, it was a little bit earlier in the fourth quarter. It was start of the fourth quarter. They were down 28-24. The Ravens were, and they were going to drive to try to take the lead. And Derrick Henry, as you see here, gets the ball punched out. It was a heck of a play by Aiden Hutchinson.
I think it's more of a I think it was more of a good play by Aiden, or a great play by Aiden Hutchinson, right? No, I mean, you could look at it there. I mean, you see Henry did not know that Hutchinson was behind him, and he's so athletic that, I mean, he was just right there. He punched the ball out and
makes a heck of a play. And now, normally, I guess this wouldn't be a very big deal. Obviously, there was still like 8 minutes left in the game, and they could have come back and won. But this is now the third time in 3 weeks that Derrick Henry has fumbled. And, of course, you guys remember in week one, that one was with 3 minutes left in the game against the Bills. He fumbles, and they go on to lose and collapse in
that
epic
was very
fashion.
costly.
So after the fumble this time around, he went to the bench and had a temper tantrum. And after the game, he spoke with reporters about it all, and you could tell he's not happy about it.
Yeah, man, I'm my worst critic, so I'm gonna watch the film. I continue to watch it. I know we got a short week, but it's just crazy. Man. 3 fumbles straight. Trying every day to fix a problem. Just keeps occurring. So I'm trying to work on it, man. I'm my worst critic, so I'm not gonna try to beat myself up too much, but it's hard not to when it's consecutive and consistent me doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell he was really down. The video of him going to the bench, and I don't know if you saw that. He falls onto the bench. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened there. I think, look, there it is. He falling. The Ravens had a chance to win this game afterwards, so I don't think you can look at Derrick Henry and say they lost the game because of that fumble. They could have gotten stops. There were other opportunities, but it's a costly fumble again, like you said, Ed. I mean, three up, 3 down. It's not how he wants to start the season. He's fumbled before. So some guys fumble, some guys don't, but never at this rate. So they got to get it together. They've given up. The defense has a ton of points. I still think they're one of the best teams in the NFL. I honestly, if you told me that was ultimately the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be shocked. But I think clearly they've got to get a defense together. Now, there was something else that happened in the game last night. Of course, Jason Kelce was there, and I did not know that Jason Kelce was a talented musician. The Baltimore Ravens have this famous marching band, and the future Hall of Fame center actually got out there with the band and performed. Watch this.
Kelce, dog.
Bro, this dude is so talented.
He all in. He all in, too. He all in.
Hey, this one time at band camp.
So there they go. They played the iconic Monday Night Football theme, and Mojo, it looked like he was playing. I had no idea.
I'm trying to figure that out too, man. I was watching his fingers because I myself was a former woodwind extraordinaire.
Yeah.
I played the clarinet, the bass clarinet, the contralto clarinet, but I also played tenor sax and marching band one year. So there was that. It looked like he was on cue, but I can't say for sure. I can also say, though, I might have played these instruments back in school. Doesn't mean I could do it now. So maybe he, practiced this for weeks leading up to this. It's hard to pick up an instrument, when you haven't touched the thing in 20, 30 years.
So hard.
I don't know, but he's a smart guy, a multi-talented guy. If I had to bet money on this, I would say he was playing.
All right, moving on to some really horrible news that we broke here on the TMZ Sports website this morning. Rudi Johnson, a former standout running back for the Cincinnati Bengals, a guy who had an 8-year career, but a heck of a career, has died at the age of just 45 years old. Again, it's a story that we broke this morning. Lucas, I know you've got some information here as to some of the circumstances surrounding this untimely and tragic death.
Yes, we confirm with police sources that Rudi Johnson passed away early Tuesday morning of an apparent suicide. And I spoke with family members who kind of walked me through what the past few years have been like with Rudi. He's a name that was in so many households for nearly a decade, but after his playing career, people didn't really hear from him much. He wasn't on social media. He wasn't a very active person who, you know, sought out cameras or anything.
Some of these guys get the podcast now and all that, right? He was one you really didn't see too much.
And as it turns out, you know, he was dealing with a lot of symptoms that the family believed to be CTE, and very popular with concussions linked to you know, brain injuries and things like that, especially with contact sports. And I was told that over the course of the years, things progressed. And the recent months have been very challenging for the Johnson family, but also over the past few days, as it was told to me, it was becoming increasingly more devastating and unmanageable. And it got to a point where they were going to seek medical help, and it just, unfortunately, they weren't able to receive that help prior to his passing. But I was told that Rudi is just someone who loved the community. He had his foundation that he was very passionate about. It was actually still operating to this day. And he was someone who, on and off the field, really cared about the people around him and tried to use his platform to help as many people as possible.
Yeah, no, it's sad, especially. I mean, he was so young, and we've obviously seen guys who have developed problems later on in their career, or in their lives rather, after their careers. But he did. I mean, 45 years old, obviously, is still so young. He's not all that far removed from the league. I know when you think about, and we got Ryan here, who was a big Bengals fan. I know, and Ryan, tell me if I'm wrong, is like, when you talked about those teams, a lot of times you would talk about Carson Palmer or you talk about Chad Johnson, because those were the kind of either the big personalities or the star quarterback. But I mean, he was a heck of a good football player.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think we can all agree that 45 is too young to be talking about somebody like this. And in this business, at times we're able to compartmentalize certain stories as just news, and then other times I think they hit closer to home for a variety of reasons. And in my 20 years of working in this, I got to know a lot of players and have a number of mutual friends as Rudi, and my heart breaks for them in this moment.
Well, was he well liked?
Absolutely. I mean, you won't find a coach or a teammate or someone in the community or a fan he met that will have a bad word to say about him. Just a quick PSA, check on your friends, check on your loved ones. You can go to the TMZ Sports website, and if you click on the Rudi Johnson story and go to the bottom, you can find links for the help if you're struggling yourself that you need. But Rudi, as the player you talked about, what a career. 7 seasons. He was part of this 2001 draft class that, spawned 4 Pro Bowlers for the Bengals. He was, Chad Johnson's in that class. TJ Hushmanzada's in that class. Those were guys that helped, when Marvin Lewis came in, basically lift the Titanic out of the, out of the depths of the dark ages for the 90s for them. He was part of that turnaround, and that led to their first division title in 2005 in 15 years. So he's a beloved figure in that town. I mean, the Rudi chants every time he touched the ball, like you could feel through your television because, despite there being some lean years, the fans still came and really cheered him on. And I think he left a legacy that, as a player, he was effective when he got on the field. He still to this day owns the single season rushing record in team history. He broke his own record in consecutive seasons. So he's just a guy that will be loved for what he did on the football field, and his friends and family will all have, you know, really positive things to say about him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when it's somebody who even if you didn't personally know the player, when you root for a team and we know how much we care about our team and them winning and how sacred a Sunday is when you sit in front of your TV, and when someone gives you so much joy over the years and you watch them, even if you didn't know them personally, you felt like you knew them personally. And seeing something like this, I think you obviously just feel so horrible for Rudi Johnson's family and friends. Rest in peace.
Welcome back to TMZ Sports. The Giants have a new quarterback. Russell Wilson is out. Jackson Dart is in. After an 0-3 start, Brian Daboll made the change today. Jackson, a rookie, will get his first start against the 3-0 Chargers, and Michael Babcock, as the biggest Giants fan in this office, how do we feel about this?
Look, this was always going to happen, right? Like, Jackson Dart was going to play. They didn't draft him in the end of the first round to sit there and watch. I don't get it. The Giants have an absolutely brutal schedule. It's been brutal. It stays brutal. And I don't understand. There should be no shock that the Giants are 0-3. There should not. At best, you're probably looking at, you'll probably be looking at 1-2 here, right? I mean, the Commanders last year, we know the season they had. The Cowboys have a better team, and obviously you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Right, Charles loves Scatterboo, which I do too. I don't think that this is the move to make. It's too early in my mind to go to him. You're playing the Chargers this week. The Chargers are an incredibly good football team, obviously. They then have a winnable game. Their potentially first winnable game this season against the Saints. Though they have to then turn around on 4 days' notice, and Jackson Dart has to somehow prepare for the Eagles. That is going to be a hellish game for Jackson Dart.
And then in 2 weeks they play him again.
Right, and again, it's an absolutely brutal game. In my mind, when I thought about this season, week 10 they play the Bears. Things at that point get a lot easier for the team. I would have loved to go to him at that point. Look, for Brian Daboll, the Giants coach, this is the last opportunity that he has to save his job. They've been terrible. First year, they make the playoffs. They win a playoff game. They beat the Vikings. They have been awful since then. This is his one shot. He had 2 shots, 2 bites at the apple this season. Have a good season or develop Jackson Dart. The good season is in the crapper. He can now develop Jackson Dart. So I think you've got a regime here that just wants to desperately keep their job, and I hope it works out. I'm excited to watch him play. I just think it's too early of a move.
And what about Jameis Winston?
Well, I would have been down for that.
Him? Hey guys.
No, I would have. And Shannon's a big-headed. I would have, if you told me we're going to go to Jameis Winston because we think he gives the Giants a better chance to win, I would have been down for that.
And I think you're right. I think coach is also trying to save face.
He's putting him in his ass is what he's trying, and his face, but yeah.
And he did the same thing with Daniel Jones. When he benched Eli Manning, he put Daniel Jones in, and we've seen Daniel Jones leave the Giants, and now look at him. So is it really the quarterback offense
agree.
Situation, or is it more coaching?
Right. No, at what point is it put on the coaches? That you could name I got a long list of guys and ever growing who have left the Giants and have went on to be spectacular elsewhere. Up next, Jake Paul says he plans to beat Tank Davis with one of the most viral knockouts ever. We'll hear from the problem child when TMZ Sports rolls on right after this. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Jake Paul and Tank Davis getting closer by the day. Fight going down November 14th. Lots of people, lots of thoughts on this fight now. The two fighters are in the middle of a media tour. There's been a lot of trash talk. I had a chance to speak with Jake Paul recently, and well, he says expect fireworks.
Yeah, no, I'm locked in. I know this is my toughest fight. He's undefeated, highly skilled, most experienced fighter I've fought, top 5 pound for pound. So I have to have the best version of myself. I know how fast he is. I know how strong he is. I believe I'm stronger, more athletic, and that's my advantage going into the fight. But he pretty much has every other advantage. So I'm locked in, fully focused, feeling amazing already, and just going to put on a performance and have the biggest fight of 2025. Again, I'm going to knock this guy out and probably create one of the most viral knockouts in the history of boxing.
So there he is, Lucas. He's not saying I'm gonna win. I'm not gonna last, survive. He's saying, Jake Paul's saying he is going to knock out Tank Davis. Tank Davis has never been put on the canvas. He's never lost. Jake says he's going to be the guy.
After the fight, he also isn't going to have a loss regardless of what happens because it's an exhibition. And they confirmed that on Monday.
But
10 3-minute rounds. The maximum weight that Jake can come in is at 195.
Right.
Tank is not going to be anywhere near that. But we also got to see them.
Jake weighed 199.4 last fight, so 4.5 pounds over.
Yes. And we got to see them face off for the first time because we know, yes, Jake is 6'1", Tank is 5'5" and a half, and it is a drastic difference. So this will be, it's everyone is talking about what this is. It's going to be entertaining because it's one of those hypotheticals that you never get to see happen because those fights never get made.
Right.
And so it'll be interesting to see how much size weighs into it as opposed to Tank's experience and his power. But I think it's going to be fun. And Jake could very well knock Tank out or the other way around. And like I said, it's not going to matter.
Not on the records, but if Tank Davis gets knocked out by Jake Paul, that will forever hang over his boxing career, period.
I don't think it's going to tarnish it as much as you think it's going to because
if he gets knocked out by Jake Paul?
After looking at that difference in size?
That's what the Tank Davis defenders will say.
Has punching power. I mean, look at what has happened. It's not like these guys are just coming up off the street. Like, Tyron Woodley has probably, Nate Robinson has probably the most viral knockout.
Yes,
I think that was the most unexpected.
Brutal knockout.
He's a former basketball player.
Yes.
Now Tyron Woodley is no chump. Okay, we know that.
Tyron Woodley's not a chump.
He can fight and he knows how to defend himself. He got laid out like that.
The second they fought twice, right? The second knockout may be more impressive. It is more impressive, but I think it might be more brutal even than the Nate knockout. And that was, again, like you said, a guy who was in the conversation for the best 170-pound MMA fighter of all time, who had great stand-up.
And I think if you ask your combat sports fan, they're going to focus on his UFC accomplishments and not the Jake Paul knockout. Now, the average Joe who watches this on Netflix, it might be a different conversation, but I don't think this would tarnish Tank's legacy if he gets knocked out by Jake.
I'm excited to watch it. I know some people hate this fight. I'm excited to watch it. We want to remind you that the TMZ Sports show is now streaming live daily. Join the conversation weekdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on the TMZ and TMZ Sports X accounts and YouTube channels. But first, Lane Kiffin's daughter has a dilemma. What gives when her father's Ole Miss Rebels face her boyfriend's LSU Tigers? We'll explore next on TMZ Sports.
On the TMZ Celebrity Tour, we've seen huge stars like Kevin Hart, Rihanna, Ben Affleck, The Rock, Mark Wahlberg, Lizzo, Lady Gaga, Ryan Seacrest, and Jamie Foxx. Buses depart daily from the Hard Rock Cafe in Hollywood, so head to TMZTour.com and book your tickets for the TMZ Celebrity Tour.
Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Drama in the Kiffin household. It all has to do with the person that Lane Kiffin, the Ole Miss head coach's daughter, is dating. So, here, follow me here. LSU, fourth-ranked team in the country, is playing Kiffin's Ole Miss team this weekend. Well, what do you know that Lane Kiffin's daughter, Landry, this week hard launches a new relationship. She reveals to the world that she's got herself a new boyfriend. And who is it? Well, it's Whit Weeks, who is a junior linebacker, a star on LSU's football team. And now I think you've got to wonder, who is Landry? Who is the daughter rooting for? Is she rooting for her boyfriend or is she rooting for her dad? That's the question, Mojo. What do you do?
I like this one, Babcock. This one is a lot of fun. Is it messed up that I'm kind of surprised here that she isn't going for her boyfriend here?
Right.
I mean,
that's the thing. So I should have said this. Lane Kiffin has said, look, guys, you don't have to wonder about her allegiance or her loyalties. She's rooting for Dad. So that's what Lane says, at least.
Well, I mean, he better. I'd be heartbroken, too, if my daughter fed me to the wolves for a new guy she just started dating. And I've been doing this thing for a while, paying her bills and sending her to school in the first place. But you know how young kids are, man. I'm a little surprised here, but I like that she's sticking with Dad. Maybe this is some sort of play to make sure Whit Weeks over there gives her a ring of some kind. Like, hey, my loyalty comes when you show me some first. I don't know. Maybe this is a good posturing move here for later steps.
Are we buying her? Are we buying this, guys? That she is? Is she rooting for Dad?
I think we're gonna need her to actually say this for me to believe it.
Right, because only Lane has said it so far.
The way I see it is, it's going to be a split jersey situation, and I think whoever wins, she'll be rooting for her.
yeah. I think Mojo. I think I'm with you. You gotta, until you're engaged, at least. I think you got to go with the parents, and then at that point, I think you can probably root for engagement.
Typically, you see that when the parent has two kids, and you can't choose one child or the other. That's when the 50-50 jersey really makes sense. This is a whole different can of worms right here.
It's like Donna Kelce at the Super Bowl a couple of years ago when the Chiefs and Eagles played. Remember, she had half and half. So, we'll see if it's the move. It's a good game, but you got two top 15 teams who are playing each other. So it's a good team. It's a good game. And then to kind of work in this little family drama here. Yeah, we'll see what happens on Saturday.
Does she root for Dad because she thinks LSU's going to win? They're ranked way higher. Maybe that's the compromise. I don't know.
Right. They are the favorites for what that's worth. So stay tuned.
I'm a lawyer.